Hello folks, welcome back. My name is Joel Duggan if you're just tuning in, and we are in Satisfactory. And for whatever reason, my music didn't stop when I switched scenes. It's alright, the game takes a little bit to load anyway. If you're here for the long haul and you've been here since we were playing Minecraft earlier today, then thanks for sticking around. We get a little bit of landscaping done, and we'll continue to poke at that over the weekend, but I've really been enjoying Update 8 in Satisfactory, and so that's where we are now. And I should let everyone know that since it is December, if you do play Satisfactory, you can now, under gameplay, I guess you have to do it before you load the game. So in the main menu under gameplay, there's a little toggle for disable Fixmas or enable. So you can enable seasonal events. It's called the seasonal events. And Fixmas is like this thing where packages fall from the sky and you can create like Christmas ornaments and stuff like that. It's a really fun little mini game within Satisfactory. I've just got too much to do in Devastator, and I would much prefer to continue this build because I am having a good deal of fun with it. And the first thing we're going to do, since it's getting dark, is we're going to check on the refineries and how the aluminum is doing, because we were having some issues, and I think I have solved the input issues, and we are now dealing with mostly the output issues. So we're up into the 98%, 88. I can't get them to stay above 80 all the time. 100%, 82, 100%. So the middle ones seem to be weird. 100%, 100%, 100%. Okay, so we're getting real close. And it turned out that one of the issues was the overflow on the coal. So right now, these are getting held up. And that's what's slowing down these machines, because these machines export directly into the machine across from them. And what's happening is that we've got enough coal, but this is not producing fast enough, and this is blocking up. And so if you look at this, the issue is not these items, it's this. So here, it's just not going out fast enough. And it's because this is a problem. This only goes up to 50. I think. So we have a lot of stuff being exported. These are all at 100%. So we're nearly there, right? The fact that our concrete is at 100% is great. 79, but that's the special one that never seems to get enough water. So it's not limestone, it's just water. So I may have to redo the piping for that particular thing. So yeah, we're almost there. But for whatever reason, this one gets passed up. 78%. So what I did was two things. I realized that splitting does not work the way that you think it works. So here we have overflow set to straight. So coal goes left, overflow goes straight. And what was happening was these belts were backing up, not because they had fulfilled their destination, but because the belts were slow. We were bringing, there's only 600 per line, but we were bringing 780 on each line. And what was happening was it was draining the train station. And then here, what would happen was it would back up. But when the overflow would open, it would send too much. It would just, too much would go that way. And so we'd end up running short. And that caused everything to back up. So I'll go down to the train station and show you the solution that I guess makes sense. I didn't think I would have to do this, but it's what ended up working. I was playing around last night a little bit. DJ, good to see you. Cosmic, Dan, SweetSandi, of course, all hanging out in the chat. It'll be weird when this tower eventually goes away. So here's our coal train. All of our coal for aluminum is coming in 600 per minute on each of those lines. But what I did was I made sure that all of this is Mark V. So we've got 2 Mark Vs. So this is going to empty very, very quickly. But down here, what I ended up doing was adding a load balancer. So we only have potentially 600 coming in. Right? 599, 493, that's low. That shouldn't be like that. I'm not sure why this is so full either. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't seem to balance, and it is balanced at the other end. So I don't know why the train does this. It shouldn't, is my beef with it. Anyway, down below, we've got Mark Vs all going in. But because there's only ever 600 coming out of it, because that's what is going into it at the other end, what's happening here is we can make 600 with a 480 belt and a 120 belt. So because these have 2 outputs, I chose the 480 and the 120. We're merging those. So 480 into here, 120 into here. So then this has 600 on it. Now it's got 600 on it, and yet it's still chugging. I don't know why. It shouldn't be. This one is doing just fine, right? Because this is a Mark IV, that's a Mark II, that's a Mark II. Everything is fine. And then this is a Mark V, but this would have 600 on it. And then this would have 600 on it. And that's all that's coming out of the other end. It can't be more than 600 per minute. But what was happening was these would be emptying before the train would come back. It's weird that this one is filling up. Like it shouldn't be. I just have to figure out which line this is when it eventually goes down the main bus. Because this might be the one with the overflow on it, and then this might be the one that doesn't have the overflow on it. But they both have overflow on it. So like I don't understand why this is so off. It shouldn't be. So these are empty now. Well, this, right? Like that is not emptying as fast as it should. Right, like that to me is not the right speed. And then it stops. You need to trace the slow line and find the bottleneck. Right. So it's backing up to here, which is just weird, right? So we'll trace the slow line. Problem is, like the good news is like we just get down to 0 and then so there's no interruption. So that's the good part. So I've got to find out why this one is slow. So this is number 1. Train car number 1. And so you're on this side. Mark V. That's Mark V. Mark V. You're now on the top. Mark V belt. I'm pretty sure I double checked this. I've been back and forth a couple times on this, and I just don't know why it would be slowing down. Our bauxite is slow too, but at least it's full. That's Mark 5 the whole way. Right into there. That's a Mark 5. That's a Mark 5. That's the Mark 5. So's that. So's that. Now we're on the right-hand side. Inside. That's a Mark 5 there. That's a Mark 5 there. So the only difference is that these are going into 4 machines instead of 5. So this line feeds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 9. And then this line feeds 4 machines instead of 5. But this is the line that has the 120 extra on it. So this line is the one that should be sending the overflow, right? So they each have 600. The first line needs 600, right? The first line is 5 times 120. It needs 600. But we already established that it's not the top line, it's the bottom line that's sending overflow. I don't see any overflow happening here. So to me, the fact that this is slow, but it's not overflowing is broken. Like, that's not working the way that it's designed. Right? I've rebuilt these 3 times. I'm not doing it again. Look, see bottom. Why is the bottom sending coal? This should be a perfect 600 going straight in. Right? That should be consuming 600. I mean, the reason why it's not is because the machines are not at 100%. Right? So the machines have to be at 100% for this to be at 100%. Right? But this will never be at 100% because the machines don't need 600. They need 480. Yeah. They need 480. I'll show you the sheet. Oh, I don't think I have the sheet open. I'll grab that real quick. Satisfactory. It's not going to work. Hold on. There we go. So if I look at the aluminum, right, there's a 680. There's 2 Mark II belts coming in with 600 on each. 480 goes in here, and then the 120 is supposed to go on to the awesome sink. And I'm going to do other things with it, actually. I think I'm going to make some black powder. So it's weird. And what was happening was, before I limited these to 600 back at the train station, it was 780, and then this was just overflowing constantly. Like, constantly sending stuff along. Right? But yeah, it's very strange. Very, very strange. So the way that this has worked lines up like this is the first line. So this does 5, and then this line does 4. So the only thing I can think of is maybe bringing in and taking like adding something down here, like a splitter or something, or a merger. So then, so each belt is doing 4.5 machines instead of the first one doing 5. Because here's the end, right? So I could try to put like a splitter merger situation. It shouldn't, but is the wall hole causing an issue? No, I deleted it. Oh, which one? You mean the top one? So there's no wall hole here. You know, you say it shouldn't, but we had problems with wall holes the other day. Let me just... No, it's not even connected to the wall hole. It's going straight into the machine. And I don't think we're using the wall hole down here either. No, it's just one belt going right into the thing. But you can see the stutter, right? So the backup has to be because the machines are not at 100%. That's the only thing I can think of. The splitter is right on the wall. Oh no, the same thing. I deleted the wall. That's a straight line right in there. I could try that one. That won't reach. Yeah, that's 6 tiles. So this, I don't think this will go all the way to there. So I've got to make sure that that's at 100%. This is at 86. So I don't know why this one in particular is at 86. It has to be the water, right? Because this is fine. It's always got the things that it needs. But because this is slow, that's maybe causing the backup. So that means that the output on this side is not doing what it should be doing. The one thing I think I might have to do, 360 per minute. Yeah, those are all Mark 4s. We'll double check this while we're down here. All the scrap is a Mark 4. These are harder to check. Max Mark 4. Yep, those are all Mark 4. So the only thing I might have to do is I might have to change the way that the pipes run. Right now we've got these pipes going into one pipe and going in 2 different directions, right, with the valves. I might have to combine this all in one go. So have the export here, the water, connect to one pipe coming in one direction and then loop it and send it back going in the other direction. That might be why these are not going at 100%. No, that's 100%. So if this is 100%, why is the one next to it doing 80? Right? Like, it makes no sense. Is that the one the water is split from? No, the water is split from the middle one. That one. That's where the water is split from, is the middle one. Anyway, I'm not going to mess around with it too much. We are at least cooking almost at 100%. We've got 100 there. 80. So the middle one, I wonder if it's because if there's a backflow issue or something. But see, the middle one here is fine. But this row here, this has got the one that does 180 per minute. And so this is at 78, and it's because it's not getting enough water. So we've got one that's maybe getting too much and one that's not getting enough, and that's why I think I need to loop the water. Anyway, what I wanted to work on today was thinking about how we're going to set up the top floor, because now that we're almost at 100%, I want to make sure we're constantly consuming the aluminum, because I want to make sure we've got sheeting and casing. So most of these are going quite well because of the amount of aluminum coming up here. And so quite accidentally, that looks really cool. And I think I might manipulate this and actually have it here in the floor so you can see it. I think that could be really fun. It will be something I have to move things around. But then this space here with all of the quartz and these awesome sinks, this is where I'm going to be building some aluminum. And we had previously thought that we might do it over on this side, but I think we can fit everything here. Because the way that I had set it up was, if I look at my sheet again, at this stage, we've got aluminum ingots coming out, and I need 16 constructors, which is not that many, and 6 assemblers, which is also not that many. And I think I've got some cool constructors set up as far as like a blueprint. So 16 of them I think should be pretty doable. I think I was using them for screws and whatnot. So production constructors, screws, rods, and pipes. I think they're all roughly the same, right? So there you can see it doesn't take up that much room, but I'd want to try and do something more inventive with it in terms of how it's encased and what it might look like. I think the screws same, and then rods, yeah, so they're all the same. They're just configured to do different things. So this would end up being for casings, I think. And then the assemblers I've got set up slightly differently. So I want to do something with an underfloor, I think, which would be fun. And similar to what we did here, we'll just do the same thing with constructors. So we'll end up bringing out something out like this. Now we'll grab a constructor. And so it could be fun to have like the business happening under the floor. That's the output. So maybe we can do something like a floor hole. Right? And then the input just has to be aluminum ingots, so that's easy. Right? Something like that. So then I just have to figure out like where on the space we want that to happen. Especially if I wanted to be able to see the output. So if we wanted to have that be something that might be glass. Right? And then maybe we'll end up with a merger here. Right? So then this would be like a big glass floor. This would be something like that. And there would just be more of these lined up next to each other. Something like that. Maybe we don't need to see this. I don't know. Actually, what would be really cool is if this was sending it the other way. So if I turn this around, and just for pure aesthetics, seeing all the stuff being made, if the belt here was heading in that direction, but then on this level, we did the belt coming back kind of like this. And if we space it right, then maybe we could kind of like nudge this. And then the output of the machines would just be zipping right along straight out to the main factory again. I think the problem is that you connected pipes straight to a refinery. Best way I know how to connect them is from above, so there's a liquid buffer. So you're saying that I have to bring the pipes up and then back down again? Not impossible. Would ruin the aesthetic of what I'm trying to do downstairs. I could take them up in the walls. And hello, welcome in. Yeah, I think I like that idea. I think that could be really cool. And we can do this all in a blueprint because that's really only 3.5 tiles. I might be able to even double it up. Cool, thanks, Cube. Appreciate it. And then this way, this could either be all floor, or we could do what we did over here and we could raise it up. I'm pretty sure I'd want to do all floor, though. Because we don't have anything going on down here. And I don't think I want to lower this ceiling. No. So we'll add a subfloor in here. I don't think I want to lower the ceiling down here. What would that look like? No, I don't think I want to do that. If I did it, I wouldn't bring it down that far, but certainly not any farther. So that way we'll have a little bit of wiggle room here. And then I guess the big difference is that I got to figure out how to feed the assemblers. So the assemblers are a different beast altogether. And how... We only need 6 of them? Yeah. So we're probably just going to put those in a row. Maybe something like that. And then we could do the same sort of export deal. Maybe the thing to do would be to have these 2 tracks kind of like right next to each other. And then instead of putting these like back to back, facing, like I was going to do another assembler here, like facing this way. So it would only be 8 and 8. But then we'd have 6 of these. Can I even build 6 of these? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they almost line up. So it might be better to have these in a bay because they take up roughly the same amount of room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, and then 6 of these. I could very easily tweak that to be the same spacing. Although we may end up needing more than 6. And these are tricky because they've got 2 inputs. But again, if we're doing things underneath the floor, it shouldn't be too hard. All we have to do is just have 2 different lines. So one splitter could be here, and the other one could be there. So those 2 lines would feed there. This would be snug. We wouldn't want to put them this close together because this line and this line would be real close. Well, I guess we could tweak that around so that it's on this side. And this would be in there. And then I could take the export of this and kind of run them both down the same way. I think that'll work. I've got room there. And we've got lots of room on this side. This wall actually is going to be here. So we've got room to move around a bit. So I think maybe what I'll do is just try to figure out what I want to do for that center section. Just do a 1 meter foundation underneath the belt if you don't want that gap. What do you mean? Like here? A lot of Z fighting. I'm fine with that. I don't think the gap really matters. You won't be able to see it in the end anyway. I'll cover this up somehow. GrandpaCrafter, thanks so much for being here. See you later. Have a good one. Right. So that takes care of, I mean, like all the aluminum could happen in a very small space. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got the wall out here. I would like to give myself some room. There's the wall there. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it doesn't even go halfway down. That's pretty cool. This is going to be a mess to clean up. So I guess the real question then is, like, what am I going to do? I don't know why I'm leaving myself this great big amount of space here. I mean, I guess we could run some belts if I wanted to. Because all of this is going to start running that way. And it's actually going to be quite a few belts. We've got 1440. And so 1440, what is that? 480 belts. Yeah. So is the whole thing 480 belts? Yeah. 1620 is our total aluminum ingots. So 1620 divided by 480 is Well, 3.375. So we'll need 1440 for 3. So maybe the 3 belts going into 16 constructors. That's annoying. That's annoying. Well, we can load balance. We can load balance that into 2. We can split one of those 480s and put it on the other. But yeah, that's not the end of the world. That's not the end of the world. Okay. If you had a setup like this where things at least kind of worked, I'd be so nervous about moving and changing anything. Yeah, that's the thing, right? I mean, this is all just being ground up into nothing, and then this one lonely thing is making all of our sheets, and this one lonely constructor is doing all of our aluminum casing right now. And I've just had them running in the background as we've been troubleshooting, so like we're good for parts. I want this to be automated because we need to send these on to other things down the line. And I guess I have to think about what those things are too. So what is... What are things? So... aluminum casings. They make batteries. They're used in the fused modular frames. And that's it. Oh, and radio control units. That's fine. So we're doing heavy modular frames on the other side of the factory, so I'm just double checking where I'm sending these and that it's a good idea. And then aluminum alclad sheets, I think, are just, they don't make much. It's just one thing later on. Heat sinks. There's alts for batteries, but it's just heat sinks and then parts. So heat sinks and then nothing else. There may be alternative recipes, but okay. I might even have that written down. Batteries, fused modular frames, radio control units, and then heat sinks. Yeah. Okay. So that's the plan. So now we just have to design it. And I like this idea. And I think I would rather have 2 next to each other. Especially because this fits in a nice little block. So we need to design this a little bit wider. And that might mean these guys are going to move back. So maybe we just do 2 belts down the middle. Now is that going to be... We might have to put them a half foundation apart. That might not be the best configuration for them. Yeah. So I'm going to move them over. I think we can do that. It's that or I put them right next to each other. Which could look cool as well. And then I would switch this to maybe be solid like that. So that would be the output and kind of like our design space. And then this would probably end up being in a situation like that. which would contain it, I think. Right, and then output here. I mean, that could be a little bit closer. I don't have to put it there. Because then if we mirror that, that pushes them a little bit farther apart. Yeah, I prefer that. Okay. So maybe that happens not on a tile, but maybe in between a tile. So that this is a seam. We can nudge things around. Basically, I just want to make sure I have enough room to also have like some walking space here. But honestly, I can just, this is not designed. This is just quickly thrown up, so we can move things if we need to. I definitely want a space between here and the wall. I don't know if I need that much, but that would be good. Let's try one last adjustment and put this here. Let's try them side by side. And I guess we'll put the floor hole. Yeah, that looks right. It's the wrong thing. And then that keeps that in a nice little tile. I'm thinking about this in the nature of the blueprint designer too. So, walking space, that's tight. That goes like that. And then the next one would be over here. Oops. I feel like I like them better separated, but it's such a wide thing. But that does keep it nice and tight here on the back, so that and then that gives us space here if we need to move this around a little bit. We could nudge these forward a bit. Right, because that I could keep these on this tile here. Wouldn't have a full tile of space, but we'd have close enough. I remember this from my Devastator playthrough. doing this with the floor holes for those guys. So that would be the cross section of the room, would be that. It's a little weird not to have it be symmetrical, but we could always have it be like extra wide on one side. Yeah, the belts look cool. I mean, I guess what we could do is we can go halfway between these and try to figure out a way to put the belts only one belt width apart from one another. And then just figure out what fits down the middle. Because that was a full foundation, right? Or that was a half foundation width there. Yeah, so that clips into the belts there. So if we did them like this, we'd have to come up with something else to fill in the gap. And the only thing I can think of would be like a beam or something. Or a pillar. I guess a pillar would work. That is a snug fit. Ooh, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. I don't know if we can do the same thing with pillars. Can we change the brightness on the... Is it just the... I think it's just... Oh no. We can do the regular concrete. Yeah, I like that, I think. I think I like that. And so what does that do to our spacing? Because I like that sort of situation. Although that's kind of an odd placement. Could this be nudged any farther back? We could go right up to the line if we wanted to. And then floor hole. Goes like that. And then that almost looks like it's a half foundation. It's not quite. So we'd have to do a little bit of a thing here. But it's going to be underneath the machine. You'd never see it. You'd never see it. And then on the other side, that. And then we just mimic that. It's funny how I'm doing this all out here when I could be doing it in the Blueprint Designer, but I feel like I need my space. Like I need to be aware of where my walls are and stuff. I think that looks good, and that brings us in. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the width of the designer. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we can do that. I think that'll work. So that'll be the blueprint for those. I mean, I'm not sure. With only 16 of these, it might be faster just to do this on my own. But if we do it in the Blueprint Designer, then we can use it elsewhere, which is always fun. And then that leaves room here. This is the same problem. We basically are likely going to have to use a full tile here. So if I want this to be within that tile, I guess we could leave that as a walkway and then have this over here. Could even nudge that a little bit farther back. It's a little bit over, so it might be worth it to bring those in tighter like I did down there. See if that, what would it look like if we did that? These are singles. It still goes over. It's weird how the grid kind of gets into your head in this game. And then when you go over the grid, your brain is just like, no, I must stay on the grid. Because then these would be out here. I really wish they made these machines like either 1 tile, 2 tiles, you know, not like 1 1/3. Because it's not even, I don't even know if it's 1 1/2. Right? Like it's, what is it? Yeah, it's like 1 3/4. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 1 1/2 would be perfect. Right? But no. Why would they let us be like that? I like this look. That's kind of fun. The back-to-back. But I think ultimately we'll probably go with something that creates a full bank of space. So we'll probably end up with something like this. That is facing the wrong way. Just means that the aisle between them is not even. Unless I push it back even farther. And then I'm like way over into here for no good reason. Other than having a space between them. Which, I mean, like, I could do. The game does do oddball shapes and measurements. I know that the proportions of recipes I know is like, that's a math game. Like, and there's some game designer somewhere that's just twiddling their fingers thinking like it's the greatest gift to guys and girls since, you know, sliced bread. But it's not the artistic stuff, the nudging and the things like that. Like, nudging is good, but like the measurements of things, the sizing of things, the way that things snap is a little tricky. We could also not put these side by side and just have we could have 6 of these at the end, right? And just run it lengthwise and not worry about this at all. Have the whole thing on a central axis. Maybe that's a better idea. Maybe that's a better idea. So how wide is this? 4 tiles plus the edge, so 6 altogether. Is the sun going down? It's getting close, you're right. What are we doing for 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, that's not a bad idea. That solves my design issue. I think if we have the assemblers somewhere in the back, I think that'll solve the problem. So, good to know. If you make a unit of measurement fit to a square, then make everything fit in the X number of squares, not X whatever. Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's like how Minecraft textures are all like 16 by 16, you know? So the sun is setting, and we're going to pop away for a short break. I do this once an hour if you're new to the stream. Gives me a chance to refresh my coffee, drink, grab a snack. You should too. Maybe even grab a friend. I'm always trying to grow the channel, especially Satisfactory, trying to grow awareness of the game. I really like the game. I hope you do too. But you get to ride the break train. And we'll start it a little bit early in the sunshine so you can see a little bit more of what's going on. But I'll be back in about 5 or 6 minutes. Alright. The timing of this train always works out so well. Like a glove. And oh look, a blueprint designer. We're probably gonna build another one of those. I need more cable. I'm gonna build it closer to where we're working. I've got them all over the place actually. Zero T66, hello. Sorry, T666. I need cable. And we're going to need power down here too. Is this hooked up? Give me a zap. You gonna give me a zap? I've got some power. Right. Let's blueprint designer. Good enough. Okay, starting with the middle, we want to have that on a couple of tiles like that, and this is a full floor up. So, and that's only one slice wide, so grab one of those. This might not work. Oh, I know what's going on. We have to do that. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are this one. It's right on the line. Hopefully this fits. And I have that centered. Yep. I think it was right there. Did it cross it? Yeah. And then we grab constructors. Do these not have power? Nope. That's no good. There we go. Right, so that's correct. And then we have to do the oats. And now the fun part. And this was just one belt width between them. So I'm not going to actually put in the belts. I think this is just... I just need to do this for measurements. Because this is going to be one long belt, and we'll just run it ourselves afterwards. Actually, I should check to see what style of belt I need. I am glad I checked. I'm glad I checked, because you know what? They both have to be casing. It's 960 a minute. I'm glad we decided to do 2 belts, because we can't do the sheets next to the casing. The sheets just have to go on their own thing. Alright, I'll have to solve that problem later. So these both have to be casing. Now they can be Mark 4s, or they can be Mark 5s, whichever looks better. I'm pretty sure these are 4 meters tall. Yeah. That should stay in the slice. And I want to say, I think I like the black belt if I had a choice. Yep, and especially because 960 divided by 2 is 480, and it means that we would end up with a full belt rather than a spotty one. If I put the wrong belt, you'd need to change it. Well, I'm not going to put a belt in at all, because in the blueprint it's just going to be the stuff that's tedious to do. And I guess I kind of like this white look for aluminum. What do the casings look like? Do I have any? Do. Kind of a silver. So I could just do a full thing. We'll do half doesn't reach. Maybe we do the full one. Oh, it's not on the right mode. I mean, it's going to be under the machines. When they're all side by side, you're not going to be able to tell. And that's a really subtle gray. That's maybe too much. It's there because there's the white bottom and the gray top. But that swatch is not the best. What is that? That's a 50%, and then this is like a 70. Oh no, it's a 15. I think I prefer that one. Yep. And we could always do something custom too. And then maybe we'll try something like that in here. That was one. What about like 10? No, I think it was the difference between like 4 and 5 last time. So it's not quite lightning white. Would look excellent if it was pink. Do I even have a pink? I don't think I do. I usually make it up as I go. Let's put a couple of these on the... That's what's going to be scooting along. So maybe we need to go more gray. Or we can go like purple. Go with, there's pink. That's very bright. There's no way to really saturate that unless we can change this number. Oh, that worked. Just need to be more purple. Yeah, this doesn't work the way that people think it does. Yeah, it keeps on giving me fuchsia. That's okay. Not, I think I'd rather it be a neutral color anyway. We also have metal beams. We could try a metal beam there too. Completely different texture. Now you can't paint those. They just kind of have to be what they are. But that combined with a lighter floor might look okay. Okay, pick that up before I forget it there. I think that's pretty good. I think we're in a good spot. Don't think I need walls. I think we will have... Yeah, I don't want walls. Maybe I'll put one in temporarily just so I can see where the edge of the space is. So I'll do the same thing over here. And I like this, so we'll just put that there. And, oh, I can't forget about power. And I think we're just going to have to run the power down underneath everything. Unfortunately, the power is right by the light, because sometimes it's fun to run like a beam through the power nodes and hide them. And I guess the other thing is, like, do we want this to be sort of hidden? We can mess around with that later, I guess. I will definitely want to... I think I'm going to replace that with something thin so we're not constantly bonking our head on it as we have to belt this stuff underground. So I think what we'll do is that. Right, so that takes that out like that. And then here we can still walk underneath it without causing problems. So now power before things get crowded is probably a good idea. Power. Should have waited before I put the wall on. That looks pretty straight. I guess what I should do is draw the cable and then lock the hologram. And then I can back up and... Oh, right. You can't do that with the... I forgot that when you have a cable attached, it's funky. It doesn't give you small increments when there's a cable attached. I hope that's a bug that they fix. I'd say that's as good as we're going to get. And it's going to be on the opposite side. Yep. Okay. So this is the front. We'll have the two belts come in from the front. So everything's going to be coming into the machines that way. So we're needing 2 splitters. One of them is going to be lined up here. And then the outside has to be... Doesn't have to be in here. That's really kind of tight. So I could put the here. It's probably better to do it that way. This is a merger, actually. I love that you can lock the holograms. So good. Unfortunately, cabling is going to be a bit of a mess. So what I think I'll do, instead of... We ran into this problem before where we've got the cables and they're running through those things. So I think what I'll do here is I'll hook up the outputs. First we'll do the recipes, which is aluminum casing, 90 per minute. So these all need Mark II. And I should probably switch my build color to be whatever I want these to be, huh? I don't mind the gray, you know? I kind of feel like that looks good. We'll just make sure that the floor stays lighter. I think that looks pretty good. So we'll switch our build color to this, which is what we've been using for coal, actually. It's weird. And so that means that as we build these lifts, they're going to be the right color. We just have to make sure they are Mark II. We've got Mark II. Now, I could build 3, like I could do 3 in a row here. I think I'm just going to do the 1. Just because it's only 16, we're not like we're making 54 of them or anything like that. So I think we should be good there. Okay, so more of those. And then floor hole. That is not giving me a chime. I don't like that. There we go. Alright, so that's the in, that's the out. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to connect this and we're going to stick it somewhere is very easy. Probably right on the seam. So we'll run the power line down that way. It'll make things a lot easier. Right there. Oops. So it hangs in front of the splitter, but at least we can see it. So then it will just be a matter of connecting these all together underneath in a straight line. So that'll be that. And those are not going to be there. I think that's everything, right? We got power. We got the recipe. So yeah, so that's the function of it. So let's give it a save before anything bad happens. This is aluminum casing, constructor. 2 facing structures with double output belts. Making aluminum casing. Oops. Come on. And icon, obviously, casing. Color, that kind of iron gray, maybe. And I'm just going to save it. I'll worry about categories and stuff later because I actually don't remember how I organized it. So it's going to be here. And yeah, so I was naming them kind of like what the item was, screws, rods, pipes, but they're in the constructor category, so you always know you're going to get constructors. Have you looked around to sharing blueprints in Discord yet? No, it's on my to-do list, though. I've got to do that maybe even this weekend. So the other thing I was thinking of is, like, it would be neat if we could work a way to somehow hide these machines. Like, I did a little bit of it over here. Oh, autosave. Item number 56 on the to-do list. Yeah, that seems like a low number. So as I was messing around with the design here, I was sort of like nestling these and hiding them. I find if you hide these bottom bits, they look a little bit more futuristic, which is cool. So I was thinking, what if the constructors were a little bit more hidden? Like, I know we can do some cool stuff with nudging now. And I'm wondering if we could do something cool with walls. Although that's going to be in the way of the moving part, I guess. Yeah, that would look funny there, wouldn't it? I was just trying to think about how we could hide some of this. But I guess we'd have to do something with architecture. We don't really have any... I don't really have anything I could hide that with. Just foundations, half foundations. That's just going to look kind of weird and blocky, right? Yeah, it doesn't have the same effect. The refineries are a lot easier to do this with. I guess we could try to do something in the front here. Maybe if that was like a white color. I guess we'd have to remember that they would be touching. No, I think that kind of ruins the way that this looks too, doesn't it? And these go up and down when the constructor does its thing. Oh, I wonder... I know you can connect these catwalk things. Like these snap to the machines now, although it's going outside the bounds. But I wonder if we could do something with like a floor. That just looked dumb. There's really not much you can do. What about like a 1 meter slope, maybe? I'm really just messing around. This is perfectly good to go. I'm just trying to figure out if I can push the game a little bit. Nope. Yeah, I can't really think of anything. I just wish they weren't so odd looking, you know? I guess we could try to hide the power. That would be the one, like if I do one thing, it would be nice to hide this. Maybe to match that, we can use the metal beam. Nope. No, don't delete that. I think it was better the other way. I don't mind it. Like, because if we make it match, it almost looks intentional. I mean, it's easy to delete if we ended up not using it, so that's fine. Well, that machine is the wrong color. Glad I caught that. Obviously, we don't want it to be too obvious. Yep. Go with the dark gray. Matches the metal on the constructor. Okay, I think we're good. Unless we want any kind of lighting, which actually might be worth doing. So if I was to put in any spotlights, I would say little signs. 1 meter? Or half meter. We'd obviously change the position of them a little bit. I think those are more subtle. And so I think what we'll do is just do that. Does that look like it's stuck to the thing? I mean, that's pretty close. Oh, I should have saved the settings before I did that. Whoops. Oh, getting sent off the belt. This took a lot longer than I thought, but I think we will be happy to have it done. This is the other thing too, you can save, rather than having to do these lights every single time, you can save like these signs as lights, as blueprints, and just like give yourself a head start. Yeah, I don't think these would nudge anywhere. Yeah. They are on the grid. I think that's good. And I don't think... I guess we could do another one there. Again, we can always delete it later. Not a big deal. Okay, let's remove the belts, because those will be something we add in at the end. That looks really cool, actually, having like a little trench. That could be fun for like walkways and stuff. You'd really feel like you're in the depths of the factory, right? Alright, that is now done. We are going to save that. Yes, I would like to override it. And now I need to organize it. Excellent. And now, now we have to move all this, and that's going to be a real pain because this stuff is all keeping our stuff flowing. Although we've got some yellow lights here, which is not good. So I kind of wonder, I think it's going to be worth moving these out of the way. This can go. How am I doing for space? Not bad. So I can remove that. These we should move. This is probably not even going to be crystal anymore. So, you know, that's all from the floor below and from the time before. I think I'm just going to safely seal this up. Right. So what I'm thinking is that I know I'm going to want some space in the wall. And I know that I want to build, you can see my kind of my idea for a wall here, which is the mirror of what's happening over there. So this is my cavity here, plus another one, and plus 2 before we start. So if I move these over here, they are going to be out of my way, and I'm not going to worry about them until we go to decorate later. And at that point, it's just going to be a matter of switching from dumping them into the garbage to putting everything into production. So this will keep aluminum flowing while we are building, so I think it's going to be worth it to just send these over here. You're going to fit? Sure. So actually, we can probably do it this way. You got to remember, it's new that they have belts on them now. So I'll count that again just to make sure I'm in the right space. There's my wall cavity, plus the extra, plus 2, so that's where it starts. So all the belts are going to come over here. That's too far that way. That's one. I am really not worried about how this is going to look. That's 2. And then 3 is going to be in the way. Nuts. Yeah, that's tricky. Well, it'll keep aluminum mostly flowing. Where's the power coming in here anyway? Alright, that's 2 of them. 2 out of the 3 ain't bad. I really like that. I've been trying to keep compact designs. Thanks very much. I'm currently Finnish and electronics mall with supercomputers before they finally unclocking at tier 7. Nice. Yeah, we're all the way to tier 8. So I'm kind of like stuck making all the things that I couldn't make en masse before I had all the power to do it. So I've got to figure out... I mean, like, I could just run it straight. That's not a big deal. So that'll keep it flowing while I delete all this stuff. But I still need to be able to build over top of these things. So we don't need the floor because the floor is part of the blueprint. I'll leave some back there. This was a really neat idea. I'm glad that it worked out with the double belt. I think it'll be a fun way to do it. Something I like about the game, and something I try to do, is that whenever I'm building another array of, you know, constructors or whatever, I think like, well, how can I make it different? How can I make it different than before? And it helps when they give you a curveball like, oh, by the way, the output on this is like 960. So you have to come up with a way to kind of handle the 2 belts and all that stuff. Taking the idea of a metal pillar between the belts? Sure, yeah. And like Cosmic was saying, I can make this blueprint available in the Discord so that if anybody is playing and they want to just load it up, then they can grab that blueprint, and you could load it into your blueprint designer, and then you could change the colors on it to pink. I won't be offended. And then you could make adjustments. You could change the recipe. Like, you can change it to be whatever recipe you want, and then just save it and change the name. So you could do that setup for like screws, rods, like all the things, right? Totally doable. All right, we have to move these. So let's just, that is very funny that I don't have enough to build one of those. I guess we'll go get more steel for now. First things first. I was thinking the other day about like what would be a fun playthrough, and doing everything with primary colors would be really cool. Like, just take all your swatches and do like bright yellow, red, green, pink, purple, you know, like just super, super bright rainbow colors. It would really be good for, oh man, we don't need all those, do we? no, we don't. That's funny. We're just going to have to move them. Where is... That's that. That's that one. And where are my sheets? They are right there. This is just me future-proofing. Which one is it? This one. Yeah, having space around your machines is nice, I have to say. I'm not going to be able to take that. Nope. Okay. One at a time. Are most of my builds over water? A couple of them are. This one is not. This one's over the entire rocky desert, but the power plant is 100% over water. But that's because of all the water extractors that we needed to pump water into the system. And so the thing there is way over there. So that is actually like in this space here. And the way that I tend to approach things like that is like when you have liquids, it's very often a good idea to build closer to the liquid than it is to move the liquid to you. Someone was asking the other day about like their first coal power plant or something in the I think they're in the grassy fields, and they were like, where do I build it? I was like, you find the nearest lake and build it over the lake, because then you only have to pump the water up. You don't have to deal with moving the water, as I had to do in my first playthrough, across the grassy plains. So, because what happened for me, when I first built my coal power back in grassy plains days, they didn't need water. It was just... all you needed was coal. So I got screwed over. Really. Keep on tapping my sprint button because I'm used to Minecraft where whenever you do something you lose your sprint, but it's not the case in Satisfactory. So that is a pretty open floor. I can probably build from the back first. What is this? The ladder? Can I not select the ladder? There we go. Oh, I don't think we need this anymore. I will worry about that later. Okay, so there is the entrance. There. And so that's the current shape. Obviously, that's not going to be there. And this is actually going to be out here, I think. I wanted to mirror this on the other side. So we could bring it back in here if I wanted to. that might be a fun spot for the goods to come out. They are coming back here. We could also put them out here. So give or take, we want to have cavity wall and then give myself 2. So I did that. So let's just give ourselves that buffer. And then this design is 4 wide, but it is centered on a seam. So it'll be a little bit wonky. So it'll end up being, it'll come to there. And so then our pathway is going to be there. So we'll actually end up with a little bit more room on either side. I guess depending on how I want to do this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe I just want this to be a 7 wide thing. What I should do is center it over the door. That would be where it is now. Okay. Well, let's just look at the blueprint so we can see how this is going to shape up. So the white arrow indicates the console. So the console there at the front of the blueprint designer, that's where the white arrow is. I wish we have a hotkey for blueprints. So that is the front. Oh, so this is not going to be too bad. We'll be able to, I think we'll be able to work around that. So it would start here. Yeah. That way. Yeah, you can see if I lock it, which is awesome that you can do that. You can see our input arrows are facing the right way. Our output arrows are facing the right way because we're going to loop it around and have the materials come back this way. An anonymous gifter gave Carbuncle Plushie a tier 1 sub. That's amazing. Thanks so much, anonymous gifter. Carbuncle, you can now join the Discord. Connect your Discord and your Twitch accounts and join us in the Joel Duggan Discord. Do you know that lake by the coal? I'm pumping it all the way up the mountain towards the Red Forest to 6 iron nodes. Oh, wow. Electronics Mall. Quite the bus. Yeah, that's a long way. That's a long way. So that's going to give us a foundation and a half on either side. Unless we line it up there. But that doesn't seem like a good idea. So the good news is I can build one of these now, and I can also delete it in its entirety. So if I wanted to delete some of this, now what I could do is switch to blueprint delete mode and delete the whole thing. But so far I think that looks pretty good. These signs might be a little bit odd looking altogether. The other thing I need to consider is where we're going to come up from like a stairwell standpoint. I would imagine it would be somewhere back here, and I'd say we've got plenty of room to do that. Because we've got 3 tiles. Surely I'll be able to come up here in 3 tiles. Sun's getting real low. Yes, it is. Alright, so we've got those 2 in. There'll be 2 more up the front here. It's hard to kind of feel like you've got space. Oh, cool. You can cycle through your blueprints. Aluminum casing. Blueprint mode. That's 2. And 3 would be here. I'm just going to lock this and see what that feels like. I'd say that's enough space. Do you think we want to start it here? Considering like this is the wall. I think that's far enough back. Yeah. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Four. Oh. That did not go the way that I wanted it to. Did that do something weird? I thought I... Oh, it did. Can you imagine how much of a pain in the butt this would be if you had to delete this one piece at a time? Like, this would be an absolute nightmare. So you switch to blueprint mode, and you just take care of it. Done. No harm, no foul. Oh, I'm glad that exists. Alright, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is going to be aluminum casings plus 2 more. 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want to move this crap. We just have to get it clear of the corners. And I think I'll do that on my own. Because it would not be overly entertaining. But yeah, I think that's good. The floor will of course be up at this level. And so I guess we do probably another foundation and then another half here. So that's a lot of space. I feel like we're probably going to change this wall to be in a different position. Yeah. I'd imagine this is probably going to come in to about there. That or we'll have it this way. That's actually not bad. We could figure that out. And it might be better to flip those around and have like the half foundation here. Oh, I forgot to remove the wall. Whoops. The wall is still in the blueprint. Not really needed. But I guess it did kind of give us a good idea about where the space is for the thing. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. The red actually stands out quite nicely with the gray. Nice. And if it's where it's nighttime, if I turn that off and I turn on the old global illumination. Then you got lights from these little things bouncing around. You can see the reflections. And if you turn one of them up, it'll light up a lot farther too. Hard to see because we're in the moonlight right now. But if I covered this up, still very dark, but you can see it sort of lights up the floor. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to see the lights on the belts. Because I think when we put the belts in there, it'll be Mark 4. Oh, it's not letting me. It's snapping it somewhere else. Oh, it's snapping it to the that underneath there. That's interesting. We'll have to come up with a good way to connect this. I should turn global illumination off so my frame rate goes back to normal. It's amazing, actually. A little bit of gameplay that I did offline, like off stream. When I'm not streaming and when I'm not using global illumination, the game is pretty snappy. I think there's been some major improvements. Now this is not going to go the full length, so we'll have to go to the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Go right to there. Oh, it's going to do that to me, is it? Oh, there we go. Probably better to go with the belt. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go with the pole first. And there we go. Finished design. That looks pretty cool. I like it. Sophia Gray, hello. What GP do I have? It's a GeForce 1660. I've been pricing a new computer, but my gosh, everything's expensive. I've got the same specs as you. Nice. Great minds think alike. This is a 5-year-old machine. So that's pretty cool. And then we'll just move. Obviously, this little belt will be extended to be farther down. Love it. All right, folks, that's where I'm going to need to wrap things up for the day. I am going to try to pass you along to somebody playing Satisfactory or playing Minecraft, depending on who is live that we can send you along to. Happy to receive some shout-outs in chat if you've got a favorite, or Cosmic if you see someone in our regular hunting. Kibitz, Tadpole, Tango, and Rendog. Let me see who I've got live. Where's my... Oh, that's what's going on. I also have all the same people you mentioned. And yeah, so let's I mean, Blind Wave is playing Super Mario Brothers. That could be kind of fun. I guess we'll send you all along to... Let's do Tadpole, just because they're good people. And they're currently doing a subathon thing. I'll give a shout out, though, to Blindwave. BLINDWAVE, if you want to go watch Super Mario Brothers. They're a really fun group of guys. Might be some adult language, just FYI. But beyond that, we'll send you on to Tadpole Milk. And I will catch you all tomorrow here at 1 o'clock Atlantic. That's UTC minus 4 hours, actually, for more Minecraft, working in the Westall build. I don't think I'm going to be doing a lot of Satisfactory this weekend. I might be taking a step away from the game for just a little bit. Oh, Tadpole is on a break. Okay, thank you, Cosmic. I missed that. And we will be resuming the landscaping and stuff in Minecraft. I am recording a new episode of the Spun Chunks on Monday. That's a free podcast about Minecraft. And don't forget the Citadel Cafe. And of course, Patreon. If you have favorite streamers, then I would suggest that you check out their Patreons. Mine is patreon.com/JoelDuggan. It gets you into the Discord, gets you access to some fun conversations, and a really, really lovely group of people, including Cosmic Dancer and SweetSandi, who are moderating today. So thank you very much to you kind folks. And thanks ever so much for the amazing bits and the support earlier today. Absolutely amazing. I really appreciate it all. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.